Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mouse Club podcast. My name is Marissa, and I am the host of this podcast. So welcome. We're so grateful for you joining us this week, and I hope that you guys enjoy this episode. So this week, we are doing an episode that actually Blake really wanted to record, and we are going to be debating our top 5 Pixar films. And it's going to be really, really fun. You guys loved when Blake was on the episode last week. I got so many comments saying, have him back. Yeah, he says he's shocked. But we're really excited that he's here with us. And I'm going to have him do the news with me this week because the news this week is about sports. And he's a big sports fan. So I figured he could give more insight than I could. But before we jump into news, I just wanted to say we are using some answers from Instagram this week. So if you'd like to get a shout out or if you'd like to participate in future episodes, please be sure to follow us at the Mouse Club Podcast, where I post polls, opinions. I'm going to be asking for your stories for future episodes. So please be sure to follow us there. We're almost to 100 followers, which I'm so excited about. And also, if you'd like to leave us a rating and review on Amazon, you can definitely do that. And I will give you a shout out if you want to tag your
review on Amazon.
Oh my gosh, did I say Amazon?
I was like, what are you selling?
On Apple Podcasts is what I meant to say.
Wait, Amazon has podcasts?
Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and make sure you leave your Instagram handle or your YouTube channel, and we will be happy to give you a shout out. So anyway, welcome to the podcast, Blake.
It's good to be back, Chris.
Welcome back, I should say. I'm going to try to get this evenly in between us so you can hear us the same amount. But welcome back.
It's good to be here with you from the living room.
From the living room is where we're recording right now. So we got back from Florida on Friday, and then now it's Monday as we're recording this, and you're going to be hearing this on Wednesday. So we're back in Atlanta. Exciting times. And I watched last week's episode, or I should say listen, and I could not get over how many times I said the word like.
Yeah, it was a bit excessive.
It was bad. So I'm going to have to watch how many times I say like this episode.
I'll hold you to it.
So anyway, this week we don't have too much news to cover. The two biggest events of the week both have to do with ESPN Wide World of Sports. And that is the fact that the MLS and the NBA will be completing their seasons there.
Not so much.
Okay, I'll read the official statement. So MLS will be resuming their season at ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex. It's going to be held from July 8th through August 11th. There's going to be 54 matches with no spectators, and there's going to be regular testing for coaches, players, etc., like other staff members, people that pretty much have to be there. And for the NBA, it's going to be an 8-game, 22-team wrap-up to the regular season is what it's called, and a possibility for a tournament for the 8th seed and the playoffs to resume July 31st at ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex. So that's what's happening. And as a fellow sports lover, what do you have to say about those statements?
So I guess we'll start with the MLS. The MLS, they're staying at, I believe, the Swan and Dolphin Resort.
Nice.
So pretty nice camping grounds they have. It's basically they will do kind of like what the World Cup does in terms of how they, like the qualifying matches for the tournament. So it's basically a big tournament. The qualifying matches will go towards their standings in the MLS whenever that decides to resume, I would assume, after this whole tournament's done. And then it's basically a tournament, like I said. So the teams that would advance, they keep playing to get prize money for the transfer budget, things like that. And then also they can qualify for the Champions League, which is pretty cool. So there's that's going on for the MLS. I don't know. I think it's really cool, everything they're doing. I think it's just going to be hard for them, not so much for them because they're only there a month or so, to try to be as safe as possible. And, if they go out to eat somewhere, are they going to rent out the whole restaurant? How is all that going to work? Mm-hmm. That NBA side and the MLS side, no one has really said, if they're allowed to go out. I know for, their hotels and stuff. I don't believe they're allowed to stay with family. They're pretty strict on that sort of stuff. With the NBA, they're staying at Coronado Springs, I believe. Yeah.
Fancy. We haven't stayed there yet.
Yeah, so that's where they'll all be staying, and they'll be there, if you make it to the finals, they will be there till beginning of October, mid-October. So it's quite a long time. Mm-hmm. So I'm very interested to see if they loosen the restrictions of being able to go to a different resort possibly, or rent a house somewhere in the area, because that's a long time to just be without your family. I know they said later in the rounds of different games and stuff, family or close friends can come. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, are they going to buy, rent out a restaurant for the night, what exactly they're going to do. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of
yeah, I never thought about those things.
Yeah, so they said, the NBA anyway, said that they'll be testing players from, I think 2 weeks from now, every other day till they leave. The beginning of June, they leave, and then the players all arrive there at the latest June 9th, and then they do some practice games, stuff like that, just like getting back in the flow. Mm-hmm. And then end of July, the games will start to happen and stuff. But it is going to be interesting. I know some players don't want to go at all, but a lot of players do. So, yeah, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what restrictions they place on them, because the parks will be open then.
Yeah, they talked about, maybe after hours if they'll be able to rent
by
out.
themselves.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be tricky to see. And then it's like the risk is if they're going to let them just do what they want, that's the risk. But like if a star player gets the coronavirus, mm-hmm. if he does, then it's like that stinks for the whole team, So it's going to be tough for them to balance the risk reward of getting out, especially for a team, say like the Lakers, who probably, in my opinion, will go to the finals. For them, like someone, all the way up to October, that's a long time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, we'll see, but it's definitely good to have sports back.
Yeah, he's so excited.
So ready.
He can't stop talking about it.
I'll take anything.
He loves sports. Well, you don't watch golf.
No,
I even caught him watching that celebrity golf tournament the other day.
Yeah, it's the only thing going on. I'll watch anything, NASCAR, anything. That's not, to me, really a sport, but it takes skill. But I don't know if it's a sport.
Well, I think it's really cool that Disney's going to be able to facilitate everybody at the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex. I know a lot of things have been held there. I was reading up on it a little bit. Back in the 90s, a lot of sporting events were held there. Mm-hmm. And I think when we were kids and they used to do you remember the Disney Channel games?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they held those there a few times.
I mean, every summer and stuff like that, you have different, travel basketball teams, they go there, different stuff like that. So yeah, it should be cool. I think it could be done safely. It's just going to be interesting to see, are they testing them every other day? How is that all going to work? Because that would get frustrating for sure if I was a player, every day, but they have to do what they have to do.
It's probably going to be every day.
Yeah, well, I said every other day, so at least until they get there. But that's beside the point. But yeah, so I guess we'll just see.
All right, guys. So we're back. We are having a debate today. Like I said, this was Blake's idea. He wanted to do this Pixar debate. So we're debating our top 5 Pixar movies. And then we're going to have some honorable mentions. But first, I think I'm going to start reading the Instagram ones, if that's okay.
Sure.
So I'll read what the Instagram followers had to say. But if you guys do like this episode, then maybe we'll end up doing some more debates. We can debate animated films, characters. We could debate all kinds of things. Rides, snacks.
Whatever you want.
So
bring it on.
We'll have to see if everybody likes the episode. So here's some of the responses that we got. So I'm not going to put too much insight into these.
I'm not going to give my opinion because then I feel like,
Yeah, we can't.
I got to keep these people guessing.
You got to keep them just guessing, right? So at the Park Pass said that their favorite Pixar movie is Cars. At Backpack Barb said Finding Dory. At damsel_in_DPS said, so hard, I think I have to go with Wally. At that Disney guy his response was Monsters University. And then we had at Vamos a Disneyland blog said Toy Story. So those are responses. Like I said, if you guys also want to shout out or to participate in future episodes, you can follow us at the Mouse Club Podcast on Instagram, which is where I post all of those polls and things like that. So be sure to check it out if you want to see future episodes in progress. But anyway, we're going to start with number 5. So, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Number 5. Drum roll, please. Toy Story 3.
Okay.
Number 5. The thing with Pixar is there's so many good films that it's like, even as a great movie as Toy Story 3 is,
I know.
like, it's still,
I agree.
It's not my favorite. And I will say, like, I liked Toy Story growing up as a kid, but it definitely wasn't my favorite movie. Because the first Toy Story came out, like, 95, right? So it's like I never grew up watching it as much as other ones. But as a movie as a whole, like, knowing kind of the story, seeing Andy, like, pack up his toys and stuff, going off to college, like, it was kind of like you know, the growing up. And I watched it with my mom. I think you were there, right?
No,
like,
I wasn't.
We watched it and she just started crying because it was like my senior year of high school.
Well, it came out when we were freshmen,
right? But I'm saying we watched, like,
we rewatched
we rewatched it, and then she just started crying. So it's like it's a great movie. The storyline's great. The twist is like crazy, you know.
Yeah,
it's a really good movie. But that's my number 5. Solid movie, just not my favorite.
See, okay, so I agree with you that Pixar movies are just so good. Like, there's
oh yeah,
there's only a few that I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
I prefer not to watch them.
But even the ones that aren't as good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say which ones, but like even the ones that, in my opinion, aren't as good as some of the others, it's like they're still good movies.
Right. No, I agree for
but
sure.
It's like Pixar movies, even though they're animated, like the stories they tell, the lessons you can learn from them, like they make grown men cry. You know what I'm saying? It's a kids movie at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, picking the top 5 was just really hard for me.
It's hard. Even as I was doing it, I was switching them around.
Me too. And there were 2 that I really debated putting in.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the ones at the end because we're going to do honorable mentions. But my 5th pick is Wally.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Wally is one of my favorites. So it was hard for me to put it in the 5th spot.
I think it's
okay. You got to talk about yours. So it's my turn. Wally I love because of the environmentalism aspect of it. I love because it covers more important topics like leadership and obesity and other topics of that nature. But I also love it because it's just so sweet and innocent. Like, Wally's just so sweet. And, of course, you know one of my favorite movies is Hello, Dolly. Okay. And that's the music that they have throughout the film and pieces of the film in the movie.
I think it's a good movie, but, like, it just starts off, to me, just kind of slow. And it's just, like...
That's the amazing part of it, though, is the storytelling without, like, any humans.
Yeah, there's not really any talking.
There's only a little bit.
And that's a cool part of it, but it's just like as an overall movie, it's good, just not my top 5.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I think you need to rewatch it.
It's good. No,
it's really good.
I'll rewatch it, sure.
Okay.
It's good. But it's not great.
Yeah.
These are.
Well, I'll tell you that
this
Toy
is like
Story.
the Mount Rushmore of movies, you know.
Toy Story 3 isn't in my top 5.
Wow.
But it was one of the ones that I was debating.
If you put Toy Story 4 above Toy Story 3,
no, I didn't.
Oh, thank God. That's fair. Okay.
No, I do love Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is probably my favorite Toy Story movie.
For sure.
Which means that don't hate me, guys. I don't have a Toy Story movie in my top 5.
I'm not going to say anything more because then it would... You shouldn't have said that. That kills the whole vibe. But that kills the suspense. Oh, is Toy Story 1 going to be at number 1 for her? Who knows?
Okay, I won't give any more spoilers.
Just killed the vibe of the whole thing.
I won't give any more spoilers. No. But I had to tell you because Toy Story 3 is probably my favorite of the Toy Story movies.
Okay. All right. Wally, you didn't like... Now we can go to the next one.
Okay.
This is serious stuff here.
Okay, so number 4, I'll go first since you went first with the last one.
All right.
My number 4 pick is Monsters University.
Wow, okay.
And I have a feeling that that's going to be a lot higher up for Blake because when he did his March Madness, you know how on I need to be careful. You know how on Instagram people do those March Madness polls but with Disney movies? I remember Blake's being his top choice. So I don't know if that's going to be the same for this episode. Well, we'll see. But Monsters University is my 4th pick.
Okay.
What's yours?
Well, you need to explain why.
Okay,
you
I'll
didn't explain why at all. You just
Okay.
gave secrets and spoilers yet again.
Okay.
You're just really slacking.
Okay. Monsters University is a great movie. I love it a lot more than Monsters, Inc. because it came out, I think we were in our junior year of high school when it came out. So
Yeah.
we were
junior.
getting close to going to college.
But I didn't even see it till we started dating.
Yeah, but it's just honestly such a great movie. I just love the music in it, like all the band instruments and the marching band music. I love the storyline. I love the friendship between Mike and Sully, and I love the characters. And probably my favorite thing about this movie of all time is the fact, okay, spoiler alert, but the fact that they didn't graduate college. Mm-hmm. To me, that was the coolest part, because when you go to see a movie called Monsters University, you're like, okay, they're gonna go to college, they're gonna graduate, they're gonna go work at the scare floor, it's gonna be a happy ending. But the fact that they didn't graduate and they started in the mailroom, I believe, and then worked their way up from there to the scare floor, that was one of the coolest parts for me, because I think it's important for kids to know that there's other options besides college out there. You don't absolutely have to go to college. I've gone to college and I don't even use my degree right now, but I just think that that's a really cool aspect of it.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, my number 4, Inside Out.
Okay.
Inside Out.
I feel that.
And it is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
But like a lot of Pixar movies, it has that twist, you know. Mm-hmm. This didn't. And that's not a bad thing at all. But it was just like, I don't know. It was very good in what it was about, talking about mental health. You don't always have to be happy all the time, mm-hmm. you know, that sort of stuff. And like for a kids movie, it was like done so well. Mm-hmm. So it was a great movie. Of course, Bing Bong, like
so cute.
One of the best characters. R.I.P. You know, in a way. But like, no, it was a great movie. But it just didn't have that thing that took it to the next level for me. Mm-hmm. You know, it was a great, awesome movie, but it's not one I feel like I can't watch multiple times over mm-hmm. and over. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think it's a great movie. And it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Just not my all-time fave, but killer movie.
It is a really great movie.
Yeah.
I do love Inside Out a lot. The scene where Riley has like no emotions, you just like feel that.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I love Bing Bong.
Yeah.
He's just the cutest.
It was yeah. So
and I
good.
think it's really important that they talked about like sadness, how sadness is important for your mental health and your emotional well-being.
Yeah, no, it was very deep for
a kids movie.
Like a kids movie.
Yeah.
And it was really funny. There were a lot of parts I liked about it. There's nothing I didn't like about the movie. Mm-hmm. It's just I like some other movies a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that, you know how Riley hates broccoli in the movie?
Yeah.
And like disgust hates broccoli? Mm-hmm. Did you know that in other countries they change that vegetable?
Yeah.
Like in Japan it's green peppers.
They did that for like different movies. What's the one?
Zootopia.
Zootopia. Yeah, they
do it for a lot of movies, but those, I think since they were more recent, like it was more easy to discover on social media and stuff.
Right.
All right, number 3, you go first.
Number 3 is, just talked about it, Zootopia.
Zootopia is not a Pixar movie.
You're right. You're right. And here's what I'll say. This is an honest moment. So I'm looking at the list of all the movies, and Zootopia wasn't on there, so I didn't think about it. And then when you said it, I was like, how did I forget that one? That's definitely right where this should be. So it's not.
Okay, so what's your true number 3?
back up.
Zootopia,
Sorry.
though, I will say right now, for the Black Lives Matter movement, you should absolutely watch Zootopia. Because
Definitely.
it's such a, and especially for your kids, if you're trying to explain it to them, it's such a great movie to talk about, like, racism.
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. Okay,
Yeah.
but it's not Pixar, so
All
we're
right,
going to not talk about it.
We can just fast forward that.
Fast forward.
All right, number 3, Coco.
Coco. Mm-hmm.
Awesome movie. Really, from everything I've heard, very like culturally respective to the Latino community.
Blake wants to be Latino so bad. Whenever we go down to Miami, because I'm half Cuban, Blake just thrives.
I think deep down I am.
He says he's Cuban by association.
Gladly. Okay, so Coco, yeah, like I said, culturally very like respectable, you know. They got it right there. The music, incredible, super good. It's a good bop. And then the storyline, amazing. Huge plot twist. Huge. And it's just like his grandma just fall in love with her.
You do.
You know? His great grandma.
Right.
You just fall in love with her. And then it's like they mend that relationship back together. It's just like huge story about redemption. True. Just everything. And then the good guy wins at the end of the day. So it's a great movie. And then just visually.
Beautiful.
Whoo,
For real.
probably one of the best.
Yeah.
Just all the colors and just, it was just so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 3 for me, Coco. Just all around great movie.
All right. Well, number 3 for me is Ratatouille. I love Ratatouille.
That's a good movie.
Blake's
3?
looking confused.
3?
Yeah.
Wow.
I love Ratatouille.
I'm very nervous to see what your top 2 are. So I feel like you're forgetting a few key things.
Well, I didn't forget any of them.
Okay. All right, keep going. Sorry. Ratatouille.
I love Ratatouille so much. I think that it's just so cute. And for someone like me who absolutely loves food, I can't go wrong with a French movie about a rat that cooks.
Yeah.
And I just love it. I love the music. I love the visuals. I love the storyline. I love when Anton Ego eats the ratatouille and he's like transported back to his childhood. It's just so good. I just love it. And I love the message, like, anyone can cook. I feel like that's like anyone can do anything. And I just love like how they made that work with a rat.
Yeah, out of all people or animals.
Yeah, so that's my number 3. So my number 2 is Up.
Okay.
Up is very important to Blake and I.
It is.
Blake and I have loved Up since the beginning of our relationship. Our first Dapper Day together, we did Carl and Ellie, which I'm probably going to post that for this week's picture. So if you want to see that, go look on my Instagram at the Mouse Club Podcast. But Up is so important to us because I feel like it resembles us so much. Like, Blake even looks a little bit like Carl with his glasses and his hairdo. And then I have like the short brown hair like Ellie. And I'm a little more like excitable and Blake's a little more like mellow and chill. But okay, that's besides the point. I'm talking specifically about the movie.
Talking about the movie here.
I know, but I'm saying why it's so important to me.
Okay.
But the movie in itself is one of the best animated storytelling features I've ever seen. Like the beginning scene with the music playing where you see her, spoiler alert again, but when you see Ellie...
I haven't seen Up by now, dude. No spoiler needed.
When you see Ellie like find out that she's infertile and she can't have children, and when you find out that she's dying, basically, it's like so heartbreaking.
Yeah, right away.
Almost everybody cried in that movie. I remember when
10 minutes in.
Right.
Box of tissues down.
I remember when it came out too, and I was listening to the radio, and like a male host said he said, yeah, that movie made me cry more than any other movie.
Yeah, it is sad in the beginning.
And there's so many other reasons why I love this movie. The sense of adventure, the storytelling, the visuals of the rainbow balloons. Like, do you know how much animation that took to create all those balloons?
Yeah, and it was made in what, 2007
or 8, I think.
Yeah, so like for that time, you know, it's pretty wild.
I love Doug. Doug is the cutest dog, besides Nala, of course. Nala's the cutest dog in the world, but Doug is a close second. I really love the fact that they also mention, like, adoption. I believe that Russell's adopted or something of that nature. I don't know if he's adopted, but I know his dad isn't really around, and he has that woman, I forget her name. He calls her by her name, and Carl's like, why don't you call her mom? He's like, she's not my mom. So I think she's probably like a nanny or something like that. So that's an important topic as well to cover. And it's just such a great movie. I just cannot say enough about it. I just love it.
Oh, it's a great movie. Yeah, it's there's a lot to love about Up.
Oh, and one more thing. When I used to work on Main Street, they used to play that music, and tears, they just came to my eyes.
Just get going. All right, number 2. You already talked about it, so I don't want to go too much in detail, but Monsters University.
Oh, it's not your number 1.
No, it's not.
Dang.
See?
I'm curious to see what number 1 is going to be.
I don't think you'll get it. But number 2, Monsters University.
It's such a good movie.
I mean, like the dorky, nerdy characters that they try to, like, compete in the whatever the games are called. Like, they're so funny at the end. And it was just so cool to see, like, how Mike and Sully met, like, how that all happened. And it was just so, so cool. And then to see, like, how the rivalry with Randall, how that all started. And it was just such a good, like, prequel to Monsters, Inc., which was an amazing movie on its own.
I agree.
So, and then it was just, like, it always kind of kept you on the edge, like, what's happening, what are they going to do? And, yeah, just seeing how they got that started. But it's genuinely just, like, a super funny movie. Yeah. It's one, like, you can watch over and over again and always find humorous.
I agree.
And I think it is super underrated. Yeah.
And 2 more things I didn't say when I was talking about Monsters University is the scene where they do the last competition with the scare scene or whatever. I forget what it's called. But when you find out that, well, you just get so excited when Mike beats, I forget who he's competing against, the other team, basically. You get so hyped for him that he just, like, really came out. And then when you find out that Sully tampered with it and messed with the fact that he won, your heart just, like, breaks. Right. Because another thing that in the movies is the work ethic of Mike and how far he's come from being such an underdog and to how far he came. And so it's just so sad to see that Sully didn't believe in him. And then that scene in the cabin where they scare the adults. Yeah. That scene is crazy cool.
So funny.
Yeah. So cool. I do love Monsters University.
It's a good one. All right. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is Coco. You already said it. Yeah.
Wow.
I've watched Coco since it came out probably 15 times.
Yeah, you watch it a lot more than I have.
And every time I'm with my family or with somebody else, it came out, like, I think a little bit before our wedding. So even, I think the night before our wedding or a couple of days before our wedding, like, me and my bridesmaids were sitting there watching it because it's just such a good movie. I cannot recommend it enough to people.
Yeah, it's really good.
I don't know. There's something special about it, honestly. Maybe it's because I do have Cuban heritage that I can, like, kind of identify with the Hispanic culture a little bit, even though it is Mexican culture. It's not really Cuban culture. But, like, the storytelling, the music, I love the music. I play it in my car all the time. It's so, so, so good. And the representation really matters. Like, a lot of Hispanic kids don't have other kids in movies that speak Spanish or that have, like, Hispanic parents or grandparents. And like you said earlier, the visual elements of the city are so beautiful. And then the twist, like, you can't get over the twist.
Yeah, that's the craziest part of that movie.
That twist was so good and unexpected because in the beginning they have you thinking, oh, his grandfather is definitely Ernesto de la Cruz, and you think you're so smart, and you're like, oh yeah, it's definitely his grandfather. That's going to be so cool. Mm-hmm. And then when you find out it's not,
yeah,
that's like the biggest shocker.
Oh yeah, huge plot twist.
So good. And then at the end with Abuelita Coco, when he's singing to her, that scene just kills me. It destroys me.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Coco's my number one.
Number one. Are you ready? What do you think my number one's going to be?
I genuinely don't know, because I don't know of any others that you like more than the ones you've already said. It's got to be Up.
No.
Finding Nemo?
We'll see.
It's going to be Finding Nemo.
Number one, Finding Nemo. Okay?
I called
Everyone, whoever in the Instagram, no disrespect, but if you put Finding Dory above Finding Nemo, you're wrong.
No, Finding Dory is such a good movie.
Not better than Finding Nemo. No. Sorry. No, you're wrong. I'm right. Okay? No disrespect, but, like, let's go.
He's not being serious. He's just playing.
It's a joke. Can't take a joke. Just, I don't know. Just chill. Okay, Finding Nemo, the main reason I love it is because it came out, like, right when I was a kid. Loved it. Like, it was the first, aside from Toy Story, animated movie I watched. And just the storyline. Like, it starts off right away. Boom, in your face, like, what the heck is going on? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then you find out, oh, he's taken away. What are they going to do? So the whole movie, it's just like... Action. Just, like, on the edge of your seat. And then it's just, like, Dory. Just hilarious.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, just...
They couldn't have picked anybody better than Alan.
No, it was just so great. Just so many, like, underlying storylines with it. But the main one, just, like, never giving up and fighting for those you love.
Yeah.
It's just great. Great movie. In my opinion, the best Pixar movie. That's obviously debatable.
I don't know, though, because you never watch Finding Nemo.
I haven't watched it in a while, I will say. But on my own, I don't really watch a lot of Pixar movies on my own. I will. Yeah. But
you will? When?
I will. I'm saying I would. You know, if the opportunity's there, I would. But it's not like... But when I was a kid, I used to watch that movie all the time.
Really?
Like, we had it on VHS. I'd watch it all the time. Mm-hmm. So, Finding Nemo, for sure. One of my favorites. Bruce the Shark.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love him.
Like, so many... Oh, it's just a great movie.
Yeah.
So, that's my number one. For sure. Now, notable mentions. All right? There's a few that we couldn't get on there. First one, obviously, being Toy Story.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. It's not my top 5.
Well, it's
just because I haven't seen it in a while.
It was their first, I think, right? Or was Bugs Life? I think it was Toy Story was their first.
And then Bugs Life.
So they were just venturing out.
Yeah.
But Toy Story is such a good movie.
No, it's an all-time classic. I mean...
All the Toy Stories are really good.
Yeah,
Toy Story 3 is definitely my favorite, though.
Yeah.
And Toy Story 2 is probably my second place because when I was a kid, Jessie was like my girl. She's like my homie.
I gotta rewatch Toy Story 2. It's been so long.
I had a Jessie jewelry box, and Nala's scratching her back on the floor if you can hear that.
She's getting crazy. All right, then another one would be The Incredibles. That one almost took out Toy Story 3 for me as number 5. The Incredibles, that was probably... one of my favorite movies as a kid, and then we were just waiting for the second one.
Yeah.
And to me, the secend one just let me down hard.
Really? I liked Incredibles too.
It was great, but how the first one ended, it really didn't have too much to do with that villain at the end.
Yeah.
And that's what let me down a lot about the movie. Like, Toy Story 2 should have been like Toy Story 3. It was just different. It was cool. It was a good movie. But Incredibles number 1, just on its own, is a really good movie. Just not quite there for me, though.
I'm not, like, the biggest Incredibles fan, I'll be honest, because I'm just not a superhero girl.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I feel like I'm such a... fangirl. Like, I love Harry Potter, I love Hunger Games, I love Twilight, like, I love all the, like, series, and I just cannot get into Marvel at all. And it's the same way with the Incredibles. Like, there's something about superheroes that I just don't really care about. But I do really like the family element. I do like the storyline, but the second movie, the only complaint I have about it is it was too similar to the first. Like, in the first, his boss ends up being the villain. The second, her boss ends up being the villain. Right. It's like, you couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's my only complaint. I do love Jack in the second movie with his powers.
Yeah, he's cool, but it was just such a letdown. Like, everyone, we waited like 10 years.
Yeah.
And it was just a letdown. Of course, Up. I don't really need to go further into it. It's a great movie. The reason it didn't make my top... The reason why is the first half of the movie is amazing. But then the second, like the last third of the movie, it's just...
You need to watch it again.
No, I've seen it. And it's just like how the villain and all that stuff, it's just kind of like... I don't know.
I love Up.
It's good, just not my top 5. And then the last one for me, I'll say, is Monsters, Inc.
Monsters Inc. is a great movie.
The original, great movie.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a great storyline. But again, just not for me in my top 5.
Yeah, I mean, you've covered pretty much all the ones that I was going to say. Like, Inside Out was one I had a really hard time placing. Finding Nemo as well. I felt like such a horrible Disney fan for not having Toy Story in my top 5. But, hey, what can you do? But another one that we didn't really talk about is Brave. Have you even seen Brave?
Yeah, I've seen it once. And I didn't like... It wasn't when I watched it. I wasn't... Maybe I need to rewatch it because it wasn't that great of a movie.
It's a great movie. It just wasn't in my top 5, but I do really love it. I love, like, the Scottish heritage, and I love the story between, like, mother and daughter. So I really love Brave, but I did want to mention it because I did not put it into my top at all.
Any other ones that we didn't discuss?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I can't remember any more off the top of my head. Cars... Gotta be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Cars, but I feel like
once you've seen it, you've seen it.
Yeah, Cars 2 I actually like more than Cars 1 when they're traveling, because I like traveling.
I'll have to rewatch that one. Then there's Cars 3. I've never seen Cars 3.
Yeah,
maybe we should have a Cars marathon. I love Mater. Mater is one of the funniest characters.
Mater is Mater pulls... I mean, his back probably hurts from carrying that movie through to the end.
The movie. He needs a new truck facelift, dude.
And then he even had, on Disney Channel, he had Mater's truck tales or something. Mater's tall tales. So he was just the biggest character.
I thought it was cool, and I thought Rascal Flatts, they were just...
Oh, yeah, the music was so vibing. Cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. But, no, it's a good movie, but definitely not my favorite. Definitely not top 5, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, I think for little boys, it's a really good movie.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I feel like they love it.
Yeah, like I loved like Hot Wheels and Tonka trucks when I was little. So seeing it, I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do put like little like adult tidbits in there, like the hippie car like grabs his like special gasoline, so we all know what that was.
Yeah, that's funny. That's cool.
So that's really funny. One, I don't even want to say it because some people really love this movie. I just wasn't the biggest fan. But The Good Dinosaur.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
It was not terrible. Don't say that. For real, don't say that on the podcast because people are not going to appreciate that you say it's terrible.
Sorry, I'm voicing my opinion. You want me to guest on your podcast? I'm voicing my opinion.
You don't have to be so mean about it.
It's not being mean. It was a bad movie.
It was not a bad movie. It was not a bad movie.
Put it like this. If you didn't know it was a Disney movie... I had not
brought this up.
If you didn't know it was a Disney movie, you would not have liked it. Nor would any Disney fan.
I don't think that's true. I appreciate it for what it was. It just definitely was not my favorite. I haven't watched it again since we saw it in the theaters. But I can say that about other like DreamWorks movies and stuff that I liked too. I'm just saying that it's not my favorite. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry. Just being honest. I just don't think it's a good movie. That's all.
Okay, we don't say it's terrible. That's so mean.
Okay.
Blake's getting sassy after his glass of wine.
You asked me opinion on a movie, so I'm going to give you opinion on a movie. I thought the movie was bad. It wasn't a good movie. Just like if we want to rank Star Wars movies, Last Jedi was atrocious. So we could say that. Okay. Thanks, Disney.
Okay. So another one is Onward.
Onward. Oh, that's a new one that just came out.
Yeah, Onward was a great movie. I don't think I would put it in my top 5, obviously, but it was such a good movie. I loved like the father-son element. I loved the sense of adventure again. I loved like kind of the twist at the end that happens. And I just thought it was a cool, like, nerdy movie. Like, it was really cute.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. And there was a lot happening. It was it was a really good movie. It wasn't, like, top 5.
Yeah.
But it was a good one.
And then the last one I'll say, which is one I was obsessed with as a kid, is A Bug's Life, of course. That's a very, very early Pixar movie. I think it's like the second after Toy Story. I loved that movie as a kid. I watched it over and over again. Yeah.
I could never get into it. I don't know why.
I think it's still a really good movie to this day. I think it has a lot of really important messages, like teamwork and rising above oppressors and everything else. But it's just not one that I regularly go to watch.
Got you.
You know? All right. Well, you have any closing thoughts before we wrap up this podcast episode?
No. I mean, I'm sorry if I offended anyone by saying that The Good Dinosaur was a terrible movie. Don't take it personally. I mean, no closing thoughts. It was great doing this with you.
Thanks for coming back.
It was fun. We'll definitely have to do it again.
We'll see if people want you back after you offended everybody.
If they don't want me back, I don't want to be back. How about that?
Oh my gosh. He's feeling sassy, folks.
No. There's no way people would find that offensive. That'd be crazy.
Well,
I feel bad for people if they find that offensive.
You just come across as a little aggressive. People don't know you.
Oh. But I don't find that aggressive, calling the movie terrible.
Okay.
Just speaking my opinion.
All right.
I didn't say it was the worst movie ever created. I could have made a better one. I just thought it was a terrible movie. Okay. Gosh. It's great being here on your podcast. Thanks for having me. This was fun. We'll definitely have to do it again.
Yeah, we'll have to do some more debates. Topic. Yeah.
Maybe we could do Star Wars movies next or something like that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please be sure to check out my latest Instagram post and let us know what your favorite Pixar movie is. No judgment if it's The Good Dinosaur or Cars.
I'm not judging you.
Or one of our other ones that didn't make our top 5.
That's my opinion on a movie.
Because everybody has different opinions.
That's great. Hey, if you have that opinion.
Okay, we're done talking about it. I'm covering his mouth now so I can end this episode. So let us know what it is. No judgment. Everybody has different opinions. And I hope that you guys like this episode. Let us know what you want us to debate next. And anyway, welcome to the Mouse Club. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mouse Club podcast. To find us on Instagram, follow us at the Mouse Club podcast. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/the Mouse Club podcast or on our website, themouseclubpodcast.com, to find all of our episodes, links to our social channels, and our YouTube channel, which will be coming soon. To follow our host, Marissa Potts, that's me. Check me out on YouTube, Marissa Potts, on TikTok at marissa.potts, on Instagram at Little Miss Mariss, MRS Mariss. Thanks so much for listening. See you next week. Bye.